when you look at the total amount of data, just this is a proxy for the challenges we have as a species. You think about the fact that I can't even picture in my mind what a zettabyte is, let alone talk about it, right? But by 2025, they're saying 181 zettabytes will be the total amount of data created, captured, copied, and consumed globally. So if you just think about, sometimes as a species, we can be our own worst enemy. We just create an incredible amount of data. So as we're doing this, we have to ask ourselves, great, but then how do I navigate it? How do I extract from this volume? And by proxy, think about what we're doing in energy, the ever increasing demand, regulatory demands and specifications and requirements from customers and just the sheer level of effort it takes to manage all that data. I'll give you another anecdote. So a colleague of mine out of Calgary, John Lusty, was working with one of our contractors, a customer of ours, and that contractor, it's a very large EPC company, did a survey on a project they were on. This was about a decade ago, and they were on a 5-year project, $8 billion. And just to get a sense of the volume of disorder, if you will, they did a survey of all their contractors, all those contractors, subcontractors, all the different divisions of the customer they were serving on that project. They wanted to find out how many worksheets had been created that were being actively used throughout the duration of that 5-year project. And it was more than 400,000 worksheets were created during the course of that project. And that, I can't even get my head around that. But if you think about it, you've got thousands of personnel that come in and out of these projects over the course of many years. And, the default is always to create an Excel sheet to help get work done. So it's no wonder that you get this kind of disorder around data at a very high volume. And you ask yourself, why is it such a challenge to get your arms around it? Well, again, this is why we have to talk about a digital backbone. We have to talk about an industrial metaverse and what that can really mean for us to get our arms around the sheer volume of data just in our own world of energy. And the other thing that I'll point out too is what the other term that you hear our species using all the time now is artificial intelligence. I don't think there's a time when you wake up and look at the news online. I would have said newspaper to date myself, but nobody actually gets a newspaper. But if you look online at all the headlines, what's going on here about artificial intelligence? Well, again, what I want to stress is if you're going to be making investments in artificial intelligence, and everybody is, the artificial intelligence is only as intelligent as the data behind it, just as it is with humans, right? If I feed bad data to somebody, I'm going to get bad conclusions. So if we're going to make sure that future investments, the future adaptability of my systems is in place to be ready for deeper investments in artificial intelligence, I've got to make sure I've got my arms around the complexity and the taxonomies, the ontologies of the data, right? The relationships between the various data points and understand the full life cycle.
Thank you for watching. To learn more about this topic, check out the links in the description. And if you enjoyed what you saw, like the video and subscribe to the channel.